I'm really pleased with how that turned out. The connector for it was plastic and it melted. Now before we look inside the car, I will warn you, it's a mess. Gear connector now, the gear shifter is now in place.
Your head is full of dreams. Tears are a proof of failure. You just gotta let them flow without judge. There's so many ways to be happy. You can do whatever you like. You don't have to be ready. You just gotta trust.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode. I'm hoping this is going to be quite a short video. I don't want to keep it too long. Basically, the reason I'm filming this video is because today is the 27th of April. That might not seem all that special to a lot of you, but it means for me that the car show that I'm planning to go to is the 27th of April, which is exactly a month away. So I just thought I'd give you guys a bit of an update as to how far I've got with the car and basically what's left to do on it before I can get to the show. So we're going to start off in the engine bay. I'll move on to the inside of the car, the boot, and then I'll get the car up in the air and we'll have a look underneath it. So let's start in the engine bay anyway. Those of you that follow me on Instagram will have seen the rocker cover. I'm really pleased with how that turned out. As I put on Instagram, this is a second one that I had kind of lying around. I do have another one that I've sent off to get painted. Basically, I've said I want it the same colour as the body. You let me know the rest. So that's going to be really interesting to see what happens with that rocker cover. But this one is just a temporary one, so I can start the car. I don't want to give the guy who's painting it too much of a time schedule, but so enough so that he can get it done and don't have to worry about it. So this is on here for now. If he's done with it in time for the show, I'll swap it. If he isn't, then I can run with this one. Pretty much all the wiring is done. All the sensors along the injection are all wired in. I do have the brake hose to sort out now for the brake servo. Now this hose here should fit inside that hole there. Problem is I powder coated the inlet and the connector for it was plastic and it melted, so I need to now thread something in there and get an adapter and then be able to chop that off and fit it to that plastic pipe to get a vacuum. So that's still left to do. As you'll have seen in my video for the fuel, I've now got fuel return and fuel feed going into the engine. I've started today with the heater hoses for the inside of the car. Now at the moment I haven't managed to start the engine, basically because I've only just really got finished with the fuel system, but what I basically need to do to get it running is now to prime the fuel system, which I'm going to do in a couple of days I think. As far as the cooling system goes, it's connected down there, it's connected up here. As far as the thermostat goes, it does actually go into there. What I've got a problem with is this. So this is where I want to fit a fan switch in here. So as the coolant comes out of here and gets hot, this will read the temperature and it will switch the fan on. So I bought this nice little aluminium housing. I quite like it. It's nice silver colour, matches the radiator. It's all right. I bought the switch for it, and it doesn't fit. It's massive. So I'm going to have to drill this up and re-thread it, and then I'll be able to fit that into there. So that'll be done in the next few days, but it's a bit of a setback in that. The inlet manifold I've got along here. I've got the mass airflow sensor ready. It's all wired into the ECU. I do need to get an air filter on the end of there, probably a cone air filter. There are a few more wires left to do, but these are things like the horn, and it has got wires here for the fan switch and things like that, so I probably won't use a lot of them, but they're there anyway. There's one there for the brakes, for example, but this one came with a new one, so I'll be able to wire them straight into each other. Not going to be a huge problem for running the car to a show, but I do want to connect it at some point. Around here I've got the wiring for the lights. My plan with that is I want to get it kind of hidden, so I want to run it through that hole there along here, through that hole there, into that hole there, and then make another hole here that comes out so that the cable can come out there and go to the headlights and to the indicators there. So I want to make a little hole there, put a grommet and put the cable out there so it just goes there and there, so you don't see it, because at the moment this just hangs. It used to run along the bottom of the car there and up here, but I don't want to do that. I want to kind of hide it a little bit in here. So that's what I'm going to do with that. So I've got that to do. Again, not vital for the car show, but I do want to get it nicely neated up out of there. One thing I've got left to sort out now on the throttle is this plate here. This plate here. Now it bolts to the inlet manifold there, and it's for the throttle cable to go into. The problem I've got with it is that the throttle cable there is now pulling on the inlet. So if I stretch it to fit it into the clamp, I'm running about 3/4 of the accelerator. So Shane Baker has got me the proper cable for this, I hope, and it's on its way. So hopefully it doesn't get stuck in the Royal Mail or the Swedish Mail, and hopefully it gets here in time. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. So that's something that I'm really hoping. It's going to be a bit of a problem if I don't get that, because I don't really know how I'm going to sort that out, to be quite honest. Right, the wiring that's left on this side, there's not a lot of wiring left on this side, to be honest. I've got to get the alternator wired in, so that's going to be wired in the next day or two probably. I've got water pump now. I've got a water pump pulley that I've got the little tiny alternator down there. I'll show you a bit more of that later when we get underneath, but that is tight in there. I've got, on its way from England, the tensioner that goes in this space here, so I get that, and then I can get a belt fitted to that, and I'll be able to run the alternator from it. So that's on its way, and hopefully again that won't get stuck in the post anywhere, and it'll arrive here on time. And the last thing is probably the breather here. It needs to be connected round to the breather pipes that are there, so that needs to be connected together. Other than that, the engine bay, I think, is pretty complete now. One more thing left to do, and that is the front brake pipes here. So I've got the rears connected. I've got to make the front ones down to the front wheels, one on each side, but they aren't a huge job to make, to be quite honest, so I'll be getting on with them as well. Right, so before we move from the engine bay to the rest of the car, I don't know whether you'll be able to see it on camera, but it's dusty as hell, this car. I haven't washed it or cleaned it or anything since it was painted, and basically because, well, I've been busy with everything else, but it's now been stood in this workshop for about a year and it's filthy. So I'd like to know, what products should I use, in what order, and how? So if you've got any ideas, please put a comment down below and help me get this clean. The paintwork is new. I don't want to do a colour buff and sand and stuff like that, but I do want to get it looking nice and neat for a show. So let me know, what would you use? What would you do to the car to get it ready for a show? Now before we look inside the car, I will warn you, it will be sorted out before the show, I promise. Yesterday I made and fitted a bracket for the ECU, so that now sits nice and neatly in that passenger footwell there. Obviously I need to sort these cables out and get them all tidied up, and then might need an instrument panel going back in there, but I want to get all the cables sorted out first, obviously, before I start putting that back in again. The front seats are fine, they're already in place, bolted down. I'm quite happy with them. Both the doors are missing door cards. Whether I'll put them on in time, I don't know, but like I say, it's not vital for a car show. I will keep the door shut so people won't be able to open the doors and have a look inside, because there's not really much to see inside the car. The back of the car is pretty much put back together again. That's been done for quite a while now, to be quite honest. So obviously I need to get the rear seats in. There's the bench there that just needs putting down again. I've waited with that because I've put all the cables in for the batteries, because I've relocated the battery to there. Inside the boot, as you will have seen on one of my previous videos, I fitted the catch tank. That's now nicely bolted down. I was looking the other day at a battery tray, because obviously that can't just be floating around in the car. I was going to make one until I happened to go on a website and found that they do sell one. It's a nice plastic battery tray like that, but it fits perfectly on that battery, and it costs about 10 quid. So what was the point of me even trying to even make one when I can just go and buy one for that small amount of money? Right, let's get her up in the air. Right, so we'll start with the back of the car. Now you will have seen from a previous video that the rear axle has now been painted. The springs are nicely red, which is, like I said in the video, about 10 more horsepower I think. So they're all done. The brake pipes are now connected and fitted, and they all go along the car. The fuel pumps and filter are all fitted, so obviously I'll be able to prime them fairly shortly. I'll get some battery cables and just touch them straight onto the terminals there to prime the system. The pipes are going underneath the car. Quite happy with how they turned out, to be quite honest. I'm quite happy with that. Gear connector now, the gear shifter is now in place. There's a bracket up there. I should really have had there's like a foam thing to go on there. If I get hold of one, I'll put it in. If not, I'll just live with that for now until I can get hold of one. The underside, obviously, body coloured orange under here. It looks really nice. I really do like it. The more I come under here, the more I like it. The suspension is all nicely powder coated now. I'm quite happy with underneath here. I have actually fitted the vented discs on that side, so this side is ready to go. What I need to do now is connect the brake hoses onto here. I don't have, or I probably do somewhere, have the original hoses for this that should go up to the chassis up there, but I've decided not to use them. I've been and bought a set of braided hoses with some banjos on the end there and a connector on the front there for the brake pipes to go into. So they're going to be fitted and they look absolutely amazing. They're going to look so nice. So they look really nice on there. I'll be quite happy with them. The other side I'm not quite finished. It's still got the original discs on that side, and I've got the caliper to fit. I lost it for a couple of days, but I found it now. As you can see the difference there. That brake disc compared to that brake disc. So this is going to have some really good stopping power on it. Now I did mention the alternator earlier, and there it is. It's a 70 amp alternator. I made the bracket for it to fit, and like I said earlier, it's a tight fit. It is a really, really tight fit. There is absolutely no adjustment on the alternator at the moment. That will be on the pulley at the top. But one of the last pieces of the puzzles now is the exhaust. Got the catalytic converter fitted there again. There's not a lot of room left, but it fits there anyway. Got it ready there for the lambda sensor to fit into there, and it'll go up then up to the ECU up there. So we've got the catalytic converter just there, and then I've made the pipe basically. I'm quite happy with actually how it turned out, but I do want to change it to a stainless one at the moment. It's all right and it will do, but eventually I do want to change it to a stainless one. It does look like it's touching the body at the moment, but that's because there's no hanger at the back here. It's just hanging in a strap just there. So it does actually fit something like that, some room, and it doesn't actually touch anything. So I'm quite happy, like I say, with how that's turned out. But it's a mild steel one. It is galvanized, so everything now needs to be painted. So I need to get rid of this, get it down again, and paint the system so it doesn't rust straight away. And then there's the two end pieces to go on there, and the proper hanger that's going to hang it up there, and the hanger for there as well, ready to come out into a tailpipe. So the underneath of the car isn't that much left to do here. It's pretty much the exhaust, and hopefully the fuel pipes don't leak, but that remains to be seen whether that leaks. So other than that, I'm quite happy with the progress so far, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be ready with this. So like I say, I've got about a month left. The 27th I want to be at the show, so I've got until the 26th really. The plan is to drive the car there. I don't really want to take it on a trailer like I've been doing with the Mini. I do want to really drive this car to the car show. So wish me luck, and I will keep you posted in future videos. As and when I do parts of the car, I'll get them put up on YouTube as soon as I possibly can. So if you like what you've seen in this video, press the subscribe button, wish me good luck, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot, and bye bye.